Hello, my menopause friend. Are you standing in the health food aisle holding a bag of flax seeds and wondering if this is going to help you with those hot flashes that never go away? Maybe you've heard that flax is estrogenic, it has phytoestrogens, and you're wondering whether or not this is a good thing. Maybe you don't even have flaxseed on your radar for this age and stage or any stage you've been through at this point in your life. What I'm talking about today is seed cycling, and whether or not you've heard of it, whether or not you care about it, I think you should watch this video because there's some beneficial nutrients to seed cycling. I also want to talk about whether or not this whole concept of seed cycling is useful or useless. And you do go through it with your menstrual phases. Don't worry, we're going to talk about what you do if you don't have a menstrual phase anymore. I just want to unpack it simply, clearly, and with less hype. Not every holistic wellness trend is the be all and end all, and not every trend fits everybody. But seed cycling seems to be standing the test of time, so let's dive into it. Quickly, what is seed cycling? It's this holistic nutrition practice, this natural health practice that has you cycling seeds through your cycle. And if you're stopping right here saying, I don't have a cycle, I'm in post-menopause like me, this can still be beneficial to you, but not for the reasons that you think, not just because of the claim of hormone balance. So hang in with me here. Oh my gosh, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Tanya, and if you've come back, I'm very grateful for you to come back and watch my videos. I like to bring all things together, body, mind, and soul, as we move through this transition called menopause. I'm going to unpack the basic seed cycling schedule with you, and I also say support hormones instead of regulate. I mean, the regulation of hormones physiologically depends on so many things. It depends on your brain, your nervous system, signals coming from organs that live in and under and around the brain that are part of the nervous and endocrine system. And I say in and under and around because different people say different things. We have a hypothalamus that controls all the master balance of the body. And some people say it's part of the brain. Some people say it's part of the endocrine system. What you need to know and I need to think of is that hormones don't live in a vacuum. It's a whole symphony that happens in the body. That is why there is a specialty called endocrinology that just works with hormones in a medical sense. So to say that one thing is going to regulate your hormones, you can eat all the seeds in the world, but if you are having a lot of stress, if there's a lot of stuff happening within your life or in other parts of your body, even physically, emotionally, then that seed cycling may not help you. Phase one, if you are in perimenopause, is going to be your follicular phase. So the first half of your cycle, you have more estrogen. And the idea behind the seed rotation here in the first half is that you're going to eat 1 teaspoon of flaxseed ground and 1 teaspoon of pumpkin seed ground. The flax contains phytoestrogens and the pumpkin seeds contain minerals, etc. I'm actually going to get to a little bit of that, but if you want a detailed breakdown of the minerals and the analysis of protein, fat, fiber, all of this stuff in these seeds, I will link my blog post in the description if you want to visit it. It's all in there. So that's your first half of your seed cycling cycle, days 1 to 14, your follicular phase, a teaspoon of each of these things. They do need to be ground, and this actually is rooted in science. There is science behind the fact that when you grind your seeds, not just chew them, so you want to purchase flax meal if you want to try this, you will get more nutrients. They are more digestible. And there's reasons that you might want to think about this if you're a little older, and that has to do with digestion, maybe even some health conditions. But again, going to get to that at the end of the video. There are some sources of seed cycling that talk about how you can use fish oil in the first half of your cycle if you don't want to do the seeds. Now, a lot of us older people can have some medications. So there are contraindications with some supplements. I'm just going to throw that out there. I will be talking about the pros and cons, the benefits and the drawbacks of seed cycling as well. And I will be talking about medications. In the second half of your cycle, we are in the luteal phase. You will be consuming sunflower and sesame seeds. Yes, ground again. Yes, 1 teaspoon of each every day. Now, this theory or claim is that we are boosting progesterone. This part of the claim makes me go, I don't know about that, other than that you need fat to make what little hormones we make in menopause. Which, if you are postmenopausal, you're not ovulating, so progesterone isn't a big hitter in your hormone health. It's not I shouldn't say it's a big hitter, it's just not prominent because we're not ovulating, and that's a big trigger for progesterone. Not that we don't need a little bit of progesterone at this age. I just wanted to point out that not everybody understands where progesterone comes from. And if you would actually like a video on estrogen and progesterone and hormones and like a 101 guide, let me know, pop it in the comments, be happy to make that for you. The supplement option is evening primrose oil. So the first half of the month, it's fish oil. The second half is evening primrose. But again, there are contraindications. There are medications that interact with both fish oil and evening primrose oil. So this is a great time to say what I always say. You always should see your licensed healthcare practitioner if you have a health issue. And if you're on medication and you want to take supplements, you may have a nutrition person, a holistic nutritionist like myself, or someone with a healthcare background like myself that can help you with that, but you still should check with your doctor. And just in case you're asking, like, how do I eat these seeds? You sprinkle them on your yogurt, put them in your smoothies. You can add them on salads. I've actually used flaxseed on my vegetables with a little sea salt. It's pretty tasty. And you need to refrigerate your seeds too. You got to keep them in the refrigerator so they don't go rancid. If you're the lady who's sitting here like, yada, yada, whatever, I don't have a period, what do I do? Have you ever heard that your cycle follows the moon? Now, this is another potentially woo-woo holistic health thing, but it kind of makes sense. You know, when you think of the moon schedule, it mimics the cycle that women go through. So if you want to still have the seeds, because I'm going to tell you some of the benefits of this for all of us, you can follow the moon schedule, the moon cycle, and this is what you do. It's pretty easy. So get the calendar out, and the new to the full moon, that's your follicular phase, your days 1 to 14, when you're having your flax and pumpkin. And then your luteal phase is the full to the new moon, and that is when you're going to have your sesame and your sunflower. So what does the science say about seed cycling? There is no direct clinical evidence when it comes to seed cycling. There's none. Science is not studying seed cycling, but science has studied the seeds themselves in a nutritional profile to see what they contain. And they can be nutrient packed. So just because there is no science directly linking seed cycling to hormone balance, that doesn't mean that the whole thing is completely useless. I do want to say that hinging on any trend to fix something, like one trend to fix something in the body, might be useless. But seed cycling may not be completely useless, and here is why. Let's talk about the benefits of seeds, not necessarily seed cycling. These are things that are backed by research. Healthy fats are in these seeds. Omega-3s, omega-6s, these are in the seeds, and we need these. When I say healthy fats, and I'm talking about these omega-3s, these are essential fatty acids, but there's also different types of fats within the seeds that are beneficial for us. Monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, I said the omega-3s, but there's also alpha linoleic acid, which is high in the flax, and these are really good. Your brain is mostly fat. We need fat in the brain to keep it going, to keep it healthy. Your brain is key to hormone regulation. Fat is also needed to build the walls around cells. A big thing about these seeds is fiber. You need fiber to feed your good gut bacteria. You need different types of fiber. You need different types of fiber going through the gut that also cleans things out. Fiber acts as a natural detoxifier and a binder because the metabolites of hormones and other things can go into the gut. Fiber binds and out it goes. In fact, if you struggle with constipation and you don't have any of the health issues that I'm going to list shortly, these types of practices, the seed cycling, these types of seeds, may be a good friend of yours if you add water to help bulk your fiber up and move it out of the body. Another positive thing is the phytoestrogens. So something like flax can contain phytoestrogens, weak estrogens, plant estrogens that can be beneficial to some women. People do have controversy around using flax if there are risks of estrogen-driven cancers in some women or family history. The evidence that I have read, and I haven't read a ton, it seems to be mixed. And again, like everything is individual, right? We can't base our assumptions off of internet information, but I don't want to throw out phytoestrogens like soy or flax seeds because they can be helpful for some people. Another benefit to having seeds is minerals. In the blog post that I have, I break down the mineral content, basic minerals, but we need minerals for all kinds of functions in our body, our cells, our bones, our brains. They're very, very important. There is a bit of a caveat here because seeds, much like legumes, can contain anti-nutrients. And when you get into the nutrition space, People will throw out a food group because of the anti-nutrients, but there again, it's so complicated. Digestion isn't just one thing. There are still a lot of benefits to eating seeds. And like anything, if you just eat one thing and think that that's health, it's not. Health or good nutrition, if you actually want to label it good, well-being is based on a lot of things. The big thing in seed cycling, especially when it comes to flax, is that they contain something called lignans. Lignans break down in your gut into other compounds that help with hormone metabolism. There's a couple compounds, again, in the blog post with very specific estrogenic properties, albeit weak, albeit plant, but this is why proponents of this method support eating flax to support hormones. The cool thing about lignans is that there may be some benefit through the science for chronic health conditions. Here's a few downsides of seed cycling and seeds in general. So does this mean we all should be piling back the seeds every morning, no matter the age and stage that we are in? Not exactly. I've already said it. Not all health trends work for all people, and seed cycling may not work for you. I have seen some women who have said this was the best thing ever, and some women who have said this was completely useless, which is strange, right? Because you think, oh, with such great nutrient profiles, seed cycling should be for everyone, but it can't be, especially if you are older, and that's because of these things. And I'm talking about health conditions. Diverticulitis. This is conflicting as well. So if you have diverticulitis and you are unsure what to eat, you should be talking to your doctor. Another condition could be irritable bowel syndrome or IBS. Everybody is different as to what kicks off their irritable bowel syndrome or Crohn's. We also have conditions like food allergies or sensitivities, gastroparesis, and even lack of a gallbladder, because your gallbladder helps you emulsify fats. This is another one that has mixed research. Some say that these types of seeds do well for some people. Some research says that all fat is bad. And really, if you have no gallbladder, you probably already know what you can't eat. The fish and chips, it does not maybe bode well for you. Seeds may, but again, everybody's different. But these are some things to think about before you start incorporating all these healthy fats more than you already have now in your diet. Another downside that I've already mentioned is interactions with medication. So if you're on blood thinners, taking the supplements like fish oil, evening primrose oil, even vitamin E, you should be checking with your doctor. You don't want to increase any bleeding in the body. Drug supplement interactions do exist, so you always have to check this out. And the last thing with that estrogen worry of flax, you could proceed with flax with caution. It might be something you do want to talk to your doctor about, but maybe you want to just slowly incorporate it into your diet as a fun food to boost your gut microbiome every once in a while, and not every day for the first half of your cycle, teaspoonfuls into your cereal or your smoothies. So seed cycling, whether you think it's useful or useless, that almost is an opinion and based on an experiment safely within your body. It's definitely good to have some healthy fat in the diet, especially if you have this low fat mentality, because that's still kind of lingering around. Now, I'm not saying you should eat tons of fat either. It's all about balance and having some simple tips or simple things that you can actually weigh to pull the hype away and see if it makes sense for you. So if you have no health conditions, you can experiment with seed cycling and see what it does for you. It's always good to kind of track or keep tabs on what foods work for you. This is part of tuning into your body, being your own best student of yourself, and getting to know yourself. I hope you like this video. I do plan on one that's going to unpack the seed oil topic. That is another controversial topic. So thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you again.